Over 100 million worth of abalone was kept in a private facility for over a year without authorization. Was that because of negligence, incompetence, or was it a big heist? Welcome to my channel. It was the 8th of February 2019 when I received a call from a colleague complaining that inspectors were conducting a raid at Crossbeth cold storage. According to him, officials were not supposed to be conducting that raid because the abalone belonged to the government. And I was to stop the raid, so I was told. And the next week on Monday, the 11th, I requested a brief from the officials. According to them, there was no raid that took place at Crossbeth on the 8th of February. However, there was a raid that took place much earlier, a week earlier in fact, where toothfish was found to have kept in that facility without the necessary permit, and the case was registered with the police for further investigation. I also directed the officials that they should conduct some inquiry so that we can be able to find out how did such abalone ended up in a private facility. The following was found: that the abalone, 9.2 tons, was kept at Crossbeth, a private facility situated in Table Bay Harbour in Cape Town for over a year. That it arrived there as two consignments, one coming from PE and arriving there on the 14th of February 2018, and that was a 7.5 tons. And the second consignment was a 1.5 tons that originated in Durban, that arrived at Crossbeth on the 21st of March 2018. In other words, the abalone was kept in that private store for over a year. There was then a request that I should support an application for a permit to be issued to that particular establishment. And that request was made by an official in the department. It was not made by Crossbeth. It was, to me, a no-go giving a permit to suspected criminals. And the other concerning issue about this, there was a missing 685 kilograms. As one could see that what left in PE was not necessarily 7.5 tons, it was actually 8.2 tons. But what arrived at the store was 7.5 tons. And the consignment from Durban as well, there was a difference of about 55 kilograms. So that also linked with the other unintended finding that come out of this inquiry. It was also found out another 34 tons was kept at Elton cold storage in Paden Island, also without authorization. In what was in Paden Island, there was evidence that indicate that a number of batches were booked out from that 34 tons by an official of the department. And the abalone that was booked out was never returned back to Elton cold storage, nor was it returned to the departmental stores. So where that abalone ended remained a mystery. Now you link it with the 685 that is unaccounted for at Crossbeth. That creates a suspicion that the abalone was specifically kept in these two places so that it can be siphoned off, and what is done with it only God knows. However, given that I directed that a case should be opened, which it was opened and registered with the police. And what followed was a number of different efforts to frustrate that investigation. First, in April 2019, I was on leave and I received a call from a concerned official who actually felt threatened because 3 senior managers told him that the case that has been opened with the police should be withdrawn, because opening a case against the department would be embarrassing. And later when I come back, after my leave about May, the colleague who was acting in that position while I was on leave advised me that he was also confronted by the 3 senior managers, suggested that he should facilitate a process of the withdrawal of the case using the same reason, and according to him, he also refused. But I later learned that the case was eventually withdrawn on the recommendation of the department, and a certain senior manager again deposed an affidavit that was submitted to the police. The National Prosecuting Authority decided to withdraw the case on the strength of that particular affidavit. So that was basically the end of the police investigation. I approached the Hawks to try and establish from them what happened, whether they received the case, whether when it was withdrawn, it was already assigned to them. While I was busy with that, my acting was terminated. And that didn't go down very well with me. And then I decided to bring an application at the High Court challenging my unlawful removal from the post, which was successful, as the High Court agreed with me that the removal was unlawful and it was set aside. But within that case, I tried to sneak in this issue of the abalone at Crossbeth and at Elton cold storage, and requested the High Court to direct investigation into the matter. The department had 4 senior managers to depose affidavit in which they claimed that the matter need not be investigated. They have investigated the matter, and the police also investigated the matter, and there was no wrongdoing. And the High Court bought the story. All this, at least to me, indicated something a little bit strange and unusual. ordinarily, departments, when there are such serious allegations involving millions of rands, they would at least ensure that there is some investigation that is being done. It's just, so that at least you are in a position to say, we've investigated the matter, even if it was a fake investigation. But what was strange here was that the department went out of its way to prevent an investigation from taking place. And even when there was eventually a report that was made to the Ethics Chief Directorate, which actually conducted some investigation, but what was narrow focused on why the authorization was not sought and granted before the abalone was kept there, but did not bother as to then what happened when it was abalone was there. For me, there was even a question of whether the abalone that was at Crosspath, whether it was the abalone that came from PE or whether it has been replaced, because there was no clear link between PE and Crosspath. So those were interesting things that you would hope that the department as well would be interested to establish whether the abalone was not kept there so that it can be siphoned off and sold. And there was also clear evidence, as I already said, that some of it was already booked out and never came back. So, the whole thing remains suspicious. Abalone worth over 100 million, kept in private stores for over a year, and the department elected to prevent any investigation from taking place and find themselves a party that would be charged for taking the abalone to those stores without authorization. And that's it. End of the matter. So, my questions still remain. Was it negligence? Was it incompetence? Or was it a heist? You'll be the judge.